On this episode of Travels with Bill, we're at Madge Lake in Saskatchewan's Duck Mountain Provincial Park. We're going to learn all about the lake today, and I admit the video does get a little long, but you'll find out everything you want to know if you're coming here. We'll start in the Birch Campground. Now this is part of Pickrell Point, and we're all the way on the east side of the lake. Madge Lake is pretty big, there's a lot of development here, so we'll work our way from the east slowly towards the west. We'll start with camping though. If you're thinking overnight camping, well, this is what the campground looks like. It's hard to tell it's even a campground, isn't it? Lots of trees here. You can see a little bit of roads in there, and we'll start to go over top here so you can see the actual campsites. Certainly not like you would find in the south where it's just campsites one on another and you see each other. Here it's full of trees. There's some grass in there too, but certainly lots and lots of forest, so you'll be able to see your neighbors if you want to, but you might have to actually walk out onto the road to do it. If you're thinking of coming camping, obviously Saskatchewan Parks website, the place to go to book a reservation and have yourself lined up to come here. See how most of those sites are pull-through sites? That's kind of a neat thing about this campground. I know a lot of the ones on the Manitoba side aren't, but here in Saskatchewan, you can just drive on through. It makes it much easier if you have a big camper or maybe aren't that great at backing it up. Just walking down one of the streets here, a little bit of washroom facility here in the middle too. That's where you would walk to from your campsite, and another camper. Quite a beautiful spot, really, for going camping. It's another part that's pretty easy, too. Here's the septic sewage dumping station, as it were. It's a pull-through location as well, so you just pull your campers up, do what you need to do, and then move on. It's set up really well. This whole campground, probably one of the easiest ones, so if you're not used to pulling that big trailer, it's a great spot to come because you'll get in and you'll get out. Here's a look at the beach. Now, the day we were here, the water's a little bit high, and we should talk about those water levels. They've been varying a lot over the years. Back in the 1970s, the lake was pretty low, and it wasn't doing so well. A lot more beach here than there is today. You can see some beach still here at Pickrell Point. Throughout the 90s, it came back up, a little lower in the 2000s. Now, in the 2020s, well, certainly lots of water here again. At what point, the lake's so low that Spruce Island wasn't even an island anymore. There was a land bar connecting to it. That has since been submerged, but if you're boating, you have to watch out for that a little bit. Certainly worth checking out a map for boaters before you spend too much time here on the water. Speaking of water, Madge Lake is part of the Swan Lake watershed. That means the water from here eventually goes down Bearhead Creek, then into the Swan River, then off to Swan Lake. That's very different than a couple miles west of here where the water is part of the Assiniboine watershed and ends up going all the way to Winnipeg. Flying over the Pickrell Point store here and the wood lot as well. If you're coming camping, wood provided at Madge Lake, so you can back in here, get some wood, and then fill up the campsite a little bit to have that fire on the go. They don't want you moving a lot of firewood, of course, due to pests, because we just don't really want to destroy all the forest we see here. Lots of wood on the go today. This part's all outside. There certainly is a shed here for it to be under too, but the day of our visit, at least, not a lot of wood under there keeping dry, so you may want to grab some wood, put a tarp on it at the campsite, and make sure it doesn't get into the rain. Off to the edge here, this is sort of the interpretive area of the park, at least one of them. This is the outdoor one. We'll see an indoor one a little later on. They hold a lot of programming here, so they'll have different plays, some of them for kids, some for adults, teach you all about the park and what you can do. Find out the full listing of what's available here, of course, on the website. That's the spot where they have some neat fires at night. They even tell some ghost stories here sometime, so worth checking it out. If you're here for a few days, I'm sure you'll be able to catch a show. Park staff do an amazing job of putting on stuff here for the kids and the kids at heart. Even the adults are going to like it too, though, so do make sure you drop on by. I said to some of my toughest critics, how long should the video be? I thought maybe we should size it down to 5 or 6 minutes. They're my kids, by the way, the horrible critics that pick on everything. They said, no, Dad, you need to show it all. So we're going to go through the entire lake, including this. It's the laundry section of Pickrell Point. Look how brand new and shiny this place is. It's probably one of the newest laundromats I've ever been in. Look at the timers too. That's kind of neat because they're not on the washer. They're actually before the washer, so you put your money in there, it gives the washer power, and then on you go. Looks like 4 loonies is going to buy you a regular wash today at the Pickrell Point laundromat. So as to video length, we're running over 20 minutes here to show you everything at the lake. You may have to fast forward around. We'll head into the Pickrell Point store. Now this place has had some major upgrades since I remember as a kid. We used to come here when I was wee little, and one of my favorite toys ever actually actually came from this place. It was a bucket with a working pump on it, like the old style pump with the big handle. It had the little rubbers in there and marble. It worked really good. It was great at the lake, but it was even better in the bathtub because you could play with that for hours. Well, at least until the water got cold and you had to warm up again. Lots of stuff in the store here, everything you could possibly need for camping. Fresh bread there as well, lots of drinks too, and there's ice cream over at the far end. We'll get back there in a second and see just all the ice cream there is to be had. But certainly if you don't bring anything with you camping, you can probably get it all at the store. So even if you just forgot something worth coming on in. Here's that hard ice cream section. You can see slush in the corner, also soft ice cream, vanilla, and chocolate. So great opportunity to pick out a little bit of everything. Popcorn, looks like flurry makers there, lots of candy for the kids. And then on this side, you actually end up in the restaurant section. So they'll make food to go. You can take it back to the campsite, or if you're just driving around looking at the lake, or why not sit in and have some food right inside the building. We'll head on over towards the water. On the way there from the parking lot, we come across the playground. Kids are going to love this because there's lots of sand, lots of playground, and then eventually they'll figure out there's also a beach just down the way, and then off they'll be to the lake, I suppose. But hours of fun to be had at the playground as well. It's a beautiful sunny day. We're here fairly early in the morning to try to limit just how many people are in all the shots, because some of them get grumpy. I don't understand why. You go to the lake and you don't want to be in a video? Anyway, some nice steps here down to the water. Remember, we talked about those water levels. Right now the lake is fairly high, but it's a really small catchment area. There's not a lot of land here because it's up on the Duck Mountains, which means the rainfall makes a big difference to how much lake there is. It comes and it goes. And in the 70s, there was a real worry that it was going to be completely gone. Not a worry right now, but the rising water levels have led to some trees being dead. You'll see those in some of the shots. Walking down the edge of the beach here, you can imagine if it was a foot lower, there'd be a bunch more beach, but still quite a bit of beach here, and it does widen out here at Pickrell Point right towards this one part, so there's always lots of room, even when the water goes up a little more. There are two beaches here. This is the Pickrell Point beach. The other one, the Manistik beach, we'll get to that in a few minutes' time. It's more the day use beach where you would end up if you're here just for the daytime. This one's more campground, but certainly not limited only to campers. Before we move on, I want to show you St. Michael's Camp. This is the Catholic Bible camp at the lake. This is part of the Bonito subdivision, which is a sort of a cabin subdivision in behind Pickrell Point. A few of the cabins here, in fact, if you drive by, you may even find my last name on one of these cabins. Unfortunately, not mine, though. It's my uncle's, but he certainly enjoys some time at this lake. See that sandbar? That's one of the sandbars we're talking about, that at one time, that was a lot lower down. So it was actually exposed. You could drive along it. Well, right now, with the water levels higher, not so much. We'll move on down the way a little bit, and hey, it's Farmers Market Day. Saturdays in the summertime, there's often a farmers market at the lake. That's put on in part by the Friends of Madge Lake. They're a really great group that's been organizing events, plus a lot of different ways to support the lake to make it really grow and be amazing. Look along some of the things here. Ooh, some nice signs for the cabin there. I'm sure you can get those custom made into exactly what you want. There's been some rough times for Madge Lake, not just the water levels, also the actual development around the lake. Certainly some things have come and some things have gone, and now they've been made better again. For a while, Pickrell Point, the store wasn't even open. Now it's been renovated and is a success. Check these out. Those are fire starters on the right-hand side. So colorful and ready to get that flame going. Some beeswax candles there too, and then of course where there's beeswax, there's probably also honey. Great selection of honey. Wouldn't really be a market without some Tupperware and some bags to go with it, right? Pretty in pink today in the Tupperware section. Even with 20 minutes of video time today, we're not going to cover absolutely everything, and not in depth either. One of the things we're going to miss is the Duck Mountain Lodge. Oh, those are really cool, aren't they? Cheese graters with some eyes attached to them. Some baking too. Looks delicious. Duck Mountain Lodge is closed right now. We'll see what happens with it. Maybe in a couple of years it'll be revitalized too. Certainly the lake, the whole Madge Lake area, on an upswing right now as far as more people being excited about it. Cabin values have gone through the roof too. There's a pile of cabins here, and they're getting to be very, very expensive cabins, but it's a very desirable place to live. Many of those cabins year-round now, so people are here throughout the winter as well. Summertime, always the best time to see the lake, though. You'll need a Saskatchewan Park Pass. Those are available daily, weekly. You can get the yearly one as well. A little bit expensive on the year, but certainly if you're coming here a lot, it's worth it. Well, from the sail, look at that. Manistik Beach over in the background. We're going to head on over there and see exactly what's on the go. Hey, what's that in the water? It looks pretty interesting, doesn't it? This beach has another playground, and it's a much, much larger beach. See the sand under the water there? Again, with that changing water level, sometimes there'd be a lot more beach there than there maybe is this particular year. It comes and goes a little bit, so there's certainly lots of room there. Tons of benches here for people to sit on, and then of course the beach itself for the kids to play on. You certainly see adults playing on it too and building sandcastles. Some of them get to be pretty complex. Out in the water here, well, this is what the kids have been begging to come for at Madge Lake. It's this big water playground. You'll find more on the web at Sask Aquatic Adventures. They own these playgrounds. They're at several lakes, including this one at Madge Lake. The way this works is you pay per hour per person. Kids and adults are different rates. They even have yearly passes available. The yearly pass allows you to be here for 1 hour a day, every single day in the summer. You can also upgrade to full day passes if you want, or just buy a day pass if you're just coming here to visit. Any which way, it's an amazing playground. The kids absolutely love the thing. Lots to do there. Coming back off the water, some beautiful green grass here. I will take a look at the Manistik Beach change area. This has got some washrooms in there as well. And then perhaps one of the most important parts of being at the lake, more food. So this is food stop number 2 at the lake. This is actually part of the Waves ice cream shop. We'll see Waves just down the way. This one has some hot food in it too, though. A little trailer set up here, so certainly you don't go hungry while you're on the beach. There's a lot of history to Madge Lake, and someday we're going to do a whole video about some of that history, including the fact the highway didn't used to be here. You had to take a different road to get to Madge Lake, and it went a lot of places you wouldn't think would be on the way to the lake, but, well, that's all changed now. We'll also talk about the pavilion that used to be behind us. It's long gone too. This is the rental area for that water course. We're going to see some life jackets in here. These are the rental ones as well, so you can rent them when you're going out on the course. There are some free ones further down the way for folks that are just swimming on the lake itself to make sure we don't have any accidents, because you certainly don't want that. They've got some paddle boards there and all sorts of other things able to be rented so you can have some fun on the water. Sask Water Adventures, the place that does all of that, so do check it out. They'll give you all the details you could want. Some people already enjoying the sand here on this fairly early morning. I'm sure it'll get full as the day goes on. From the playground, I wanted to show you those free life jackets. See the sign there? It looks like it's got some life jackets hanging on it. Well, that's them. So if you're here with kids and didn't bring one, do grab one and put it on the kids, because we certainly don't want any bad news happening here at the lake. There's certainly some fish in the lake, though not a lot of fish. This isn't a type of fishery where you'd call home and say, oh, I caught something huge. They stock some stuff here, specifically the walleye. They put it in. There's northern pike in there as well, yellow perch, burbot, but nothing's particularly big. It's not fished out, but you're not going to get trophy fish at Madge Lake. You're here more for the entertainment, though a lot of people do swear by the fishing. I don't know. There's certainly other lakes in the area where you would get bigger fish. Child's Lake comes to mind. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump across the border. This is part of the Duck Mountain Lodge. This part's open, so these are little rental cabins, so you can actually rent them. These days, the golf course folks look after the rental cabins, so you can find out more at the Madge Lake Golf Course, and they will give you the details on how you could rent one of those. I want to show you how close we are to the water, though. It's just down the pathway back to the beach. We talked about the Friends of Madge Lake. They've got a treat shop here. It's also full of souvenirs. A very interesting place to go. It even has its own totem pole, which is kind of neat. Look at that fox, isn't he so cool? And then you can see the loon up above that, some bulrushes there. You go all the way to the top here. It looks like, I don't know, some sort of stick or something at the top. But as we come around, you find out that's actually an eagle topping off the totem pole. Oh, looks so nice there, soaring above it all. I like what's all colorful too. This looks perfect. Friends of Madge Lake Library, one of these little mini libraries. If you need a book, you can certainly borrow one. You can always put one back too and keep the library filled right up. We're going to head on inside here so you can see what's in the cabin. I remember years ago this cabin was abandoned. There was nothing in there at all. But that's part of them fixing up the lake, right? Getting everything new and shiny again. And they've taken that abandoned cabin, fixed up the roof, and filled it up with, well, treasure, really. Lots of this is handmade stuff. Various artists have it here on consignment, so you can come in, snoop around, and find that perfect piece. Maybe it's for the cabin, but maybe you're taking it home too. All the proceeds that are made here go back to Madge Lake. That's part of the Friends of Madge Lake thing. They, of course, thank you for supporting them. Check out some of that birch bark stuff. That is made pretty neat with the leather. the whole cabin is full of things. You could probably spend a half hour in here easily looking around. When we were here, there's actually some of the artists, that's them there, looking at their stuff to see what had sold and what hadn't sold, and thinking about what to bring in next. So lots to see. Look at the glass. That's so amazing, isn't it? That's all melted together, just like those earrings they make, but obviously on a much bigger scale. I've always wanted to try making those earrings. It looks so neat. I used to know a guy whose wife did that. She was amazing at it. Of course, the earrings, well, maybe didn't look that great on me, but they would have worked on other people. Some fudge, because what would be a lake without fudge? Also some treats here too. Those are jams and jellies, I believe. There's the ice cream and the drinks, so obviously that's why the kids are going to want to come here. But Mom and Dad will love looking around as well to see everything there is. Friends of Madge Lake is such a great thing for the lake, because before they were here, like I say, the lake was suffering a little bit. They've certainly turned things around and made Madge Lake a must-see destination like it used to be many, many years ago. Leaving the cabin, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump down the little path back to Manistik Beach. This, of course, where we were just looking at all that big waterside stuff. I had to stop, though, and just hear some of this. What would be a day at the lake without hearing the waves on the sand? Oh, that is so relaxing and amazing. We're still heading west. Now we're to the administration office, and this is the indoor interpretive center. So this is the place you're going to come to buy those park passes. I'll show you a neat spot to buy them even when the place is closed too. But let's head on inside and take a little peek at the interpretive center. Now we need to come back here because I'd love to have the full tour on video so you can see exactly what all this stuff is. And they've got some park staff here that are amazing at showing you through it. Some kids activities here too. Look, there's a little boat that the kids could end up in, I'm sure. Although it seems to have a little don't go in me side. I'll have to find out more about that. There's Mr. Moose, showing you a little bit more about like some stuffed animals here too. But check out how the whole room is made to look like forest. They've put a lot of work into this, and it teaches you everything about Madge Lake. Not just the forest, but also the story of the lake, how it came to be here, the early people that came. Kamsack, of course, is really close to Madge Lake, and this was kind of the lake from Kamsack. Now it's the lake also for the western half of the Swan River Valley. Lots of people from Bonito head up here because it's the lake that's closest. Swan River Valley, one of those places where they have lots of lakes to choose from. Madge Lake being just one of them. We're still inside the admin office, but sort of outside the interpretive center now into the main entrance. I wanted to show you the birds and all the stuffed animals because there's certainly some great examples of the wildlife you could see around Madge Lake. Most of them are labeled too. When you come in here, this is where you can buy those park passes. Right in the window there, the staff will be happy to help you out. Jumping out to the parking lot, there's this neat entry permit pay station. This thing's cool because even when they're closed, you can use your credit card to buy a park pass, so no more worries about getting a ticket if you come here sometime when the visitor center isn't open and aren't able to get the pass. You just use the little machine, throw it in the window, and you're good to go, enjoying Madge Lake like all your friends are. Certainly the golf course could fill a whole episode, but just a second here about it. It's an 18-hole golf course. They've got a clubhouse there too. Lots of people out golfing the day of our visit. Wouldn't you like to be golfing here too? Look at how great those fairways look. Some greens in there as well, all amongst the forest. I suppose you could get a golf cart if you wanted the full golfing experience, but when it looks this beautiful, you can certainly walk it too. There's always something to see around every single corner. You'll find more on their website as well. Well, we're all the way to the west side of the park at Waves Ice Cream and Mini Golf. Let's check out the ice cream first, though. They've got gas here, so certainly if you need to gas up the vehicle or the boat, this is the place to come. They'll get you set up. I got to spend some time talking to the owner here. He's sure proud of it. He's excited about the store. And as I mentioned before, that red food trailer we saw, that's part of this too. So the hot food over there, this has a bunch of ice cream and candy on the go. Check out the inside. This place is spotless. So beautiful. The soft ice cream machine, some candy, lots of specialty items. So they make some really neat ice cream stuff here and a great selection of hard ice cream. This particular hard ice cream is Foothills Creamery. So it's ice cream you only find in Alberta and Saskatchewan. Once you get to Manitoba, there's not really these flavors anymore. So if you're looking for something different, try that ice cream. The caramel candy apple is to die for. some supplies for your boat, some candy for the kids, even some fish hooks in the corner. This one is on the highway. The Pickrell Point store we showed you, that's sort of off in the campground. This is the one you see as you go by. Both of them have ice cream, of course. You probably find more day trippers stopping in here. Certainly it's a pretty favorite spot for my kids. Anytime we travel through the park, they want to hop on inside. They've even got cotton candy in there too. Shot from the air here, you can see the store, but you can also see the mini golf course. That's all been revamped as well. I don't know if you can see the blue fountains quite from here, but they've got that water dyed, so when the fountain's going, it's just, well, it's really, really blue. You'll start out here outside. Also a good spot to eat your ice cream. There's lots of benches here. Then you'll head on into the golf course. So we're doing some filming here. I actually met some people outside having some ice cream. One of the gentlemen quite interested in the drone we were flying, so we showed him how that worked, let him try it out a bit. Certainly filming these episodes as much fun as showing them to you, because you meet so many people as you travel around here that all say, hey, what is it you're doing over there? You get to give them the Travels with Bill card. Some of them are even lucky enough to get a Travels with Bill coffee mug. So if you see us out and about, ask, you might get one. This is an evil hole at the golf course. You're going to putt on the top part. Your ball's going to go down one of those holes, and depending on which one it goes down, well, you may get a hole in one, or you may have a whole lot of trouble. See how it's even sloped up there? So once you get close to one of them, it's too late. You're going down it. This one's pretty neat too. It's actually a 2-layer hole. So you start putting at the beginning. You have to come all around the circle. You're actually going to go under the bridge and then over to the hole. It's a very modern golf course, well looked after too, and very clean, so you don't have to worry about your ball picking up any garbage on the way and getting you that extra stroke penalty that makes it so the kids beat you. There's a boat launch on the far side of the lake, but this is the Marina area here, and certainly some boat parking goes on. The bridge, though, is the reason we've come. I know it's a little hard to see. We'll get a better shot here in a second, but it's a suspension bridge, so the walking path goes right over the edge of the marina, and the boats actually go right underneath it, although I think you'd want to duck. The day of our visit, unfortunately, the bridge closed, so we couldn't walk across it to show it to you. There'd been some troubles with the bridge, and because of that, it was waiting for a safety inspection. But most of the time when you come, the bridge will be open, and you can skedaddle across, and, well, really, it's kind of neat, right, to have a suspension bridge at a lake. A little close-up shot here of what you could expect. You can see the clearance there. The boats do make it under, but they want to go right in the middle, I think. There's not a lot of space there for the boats to make their way out onto the lake. Bet you didn't realize it's been 22 minutes of looking at Madge Lake already. Neither did I, and I've still got so much to tell you. We're looking at the Madge Lake Bible Camp here for a second before we're done the video. Lots of stuff goes on here. Check out their website, Madge Lake Bible Camp. The forest, you may have noticed how big the trees are. The last time this forest burned was in the 1800s, which means for the most part, the forest is pretty mature. Cross our fingers it doesn't burn anytime soon. We'd hate to see that happen, but that's why all the trees look so amazingly big and wonderful. It's been quite a while since a forest fire. Well, that's it for this particular tour of Madge Lake. Then we'll probably come back and do some more episodes on some of these little pieces so we get a little more in depth with them too. Make sure you hit subscribe so that you see when we release more videos on this lake and so many other places. We're, of course, traveling Canada, showing you some of the best parts. Farewell for now. From Madge Lake in Saskatchewan's Duck Mountain Provincial Park, we'll see you next time on the next episode of Travels with Bill.